Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley here in Washington. Remember, go to tarpley.net, Tarpley.net, and find the entire 1992 biography of Bush the Elder for free. Download it, read it, learn the lessons of it. And also you can find ways to buy the more recent books. Go to tarpley.net. That website is in the process of being upgraded. That will take a while, but in the meantime you can certainly get all of these things there. You'll also find a good essay from Against Oligarchy, which is the real story of the crash of 1929, British bankruptcy of 1931, and U.S. banking crisis of 1932-33. What you need to know to follow what's going on. That's there for free. Enjoy it, learn from it. The decision now by the Obama-Gates-Clinton administration to change the anti-missile missile deployments in Eastern Europe from land-based in Poland to Aegis sea-based, but then possibly land-based. This could get into the hundreds, and as the Russian expert says, it could have a space component. What is the goal? It is, of course, to push Russia forward into a conflict situation with Iran. We saw this happening from the Iranian side. The Rafsanjani Mousavi coup faction in Tehran some weeks back was chanting death to Russia, death to China, whereas Ahmadinejad went with the tried and true death to America. But it's the death to Russia, death to China. That's the CIA faction. That's what they were proclaiming with that. That doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It looks like Ahmadinejad is consolidating, much to the chagrin of the Anglo-Americans. That color revolution, it didn't work. The authoritarian apparatus, the Iranian state, is lashing out against these subversive forces, because that's what they are. The forces of color revolution, people power coup, and U.S.-British imperialism, they're losing out. But now they're also trying from the other side, pushing Russia forward. You could see in all the news accounts, it's a bid to get Russia to take the point against Iran in terms of economic sanctions and ultimately of some kind of possible military clash down the road. Who knows how much Brzezinski thinks he can get. Lavrov, of course, the Russian foreign minister, knows this. This is not a secret. Lavrov, in the wake of this announcement by Obama yesterday by now, said, we Russia still do not think that there should be any additional economic sanctions against Iran. There's also going to be a START treaty negotiation. It looks like it's a package. The START, Strategic Arm Reduction talks, negotiated in the Reagan administration, ultimately, Reagan during the 80s. This is about to run out, so it's got to be renewed. Russia and the U.S. want it to be renewed. There will be a deal made now in Russia in December for the START treaty. So these go together. However, look also now at this guy, Rasmussen. It's not F-A-U-X, but F-O-G-H. F-A-U-X Rasmussen says that it's now time to merge the anti-ballistic missile capabilities of the U.S., NATO, and the Russian Federation. Oh, my gosh. An alliance, practically. They're suddenly forgetting all about Georgia and Saakashvili's concerns, and they're forgetting about the kleptocrats of Kiev. They're also not paying too much attention to the Kaczynski twins in Poland, and they're not paying too much attention to the right-wingers in Prague who wanted this radar. But what is this? U.S., NATO, and Russian Federation against Iran? And where does that leave China, I wonder, if you have U.S., NATO, Russian Federation all merging? I think this is Chamberlain. Remember, what was Chamberlain? What was appeasement? What is appeasement? Appeasement is not a peace policy. Appeasement is the idea that you can con what is, after all, your enemy into fighting another enemy. With Chamberlain in the 1930s, it was play Hitler against Stalin and destroy both of them. Today, it's got to be play Iran against Russia and weaken or destroy both, or play Russia against China, play Russia against Iran, Iran against Russia, you know the drill. So that is what is going on, and it may, my opinion has always been it won't work. So therefore, don't be surprised if this does not succeed, but it could work, and that's the danger. So don't be duped. Don't let anybody be duped by Obama. Remember, as we've heard in the Congress, he lies. Yes, indeed, he does lie. Dissembling, deception, fakery, manipulation, duping people is the essence, the nerve and fist of everything that Obama does, and that is what he is doing right now. There will be talks between the U.S. and Iran coming up. This starts on October 1st, right? And all the talk about attack, I think, is the Israeli attack and all the rest of this. This is now blackmail, to be sure, but it's in the process of making a deal or attempting to make a deal. Who knows what it's going to be? October 1st it starts. It's the permanent five of the United Nations plus one. That would be U.S., Britain, France, China, Russia. There's your perm five, plus Germany, BRD, with Iran. So it's going to be 6 against 1 in effect. But, of course, it won't be 6 against 1 because China and Russia are not part of that lockstep, and I don't believe Russia is going to be dupable in that regard. Now, moving on quickly, that's your Polish missile crisis update. Let's look for a second at something new has occurred, and I think it's actually good. The House of Representatives has now passed a bill that would shift student loans out of the private sector and into the form of government loans. That is to say, the government being its own bank for purposes that it wishes to promote based on votes in Congress. This is exemplary. This is a good thing. Don't let those reactionaries say, oh, this is another big government takeover. Baloney. What it has been up to now is a costly program where the U.S. government pays subsidies to private lenders to attain the result of getting those lenders to make student loans. Well, the problem was last year in the credit crunch, they stopped. Many of them simply failed to do so. They were not reliable. A lot of people had their college education disrupted, interrupted, sabotaged, torpedoed by the fact that these greedy private lenders were not able to make the subsidized and guaranteed student loans under Sallie Mae and related programs. Therefore, what is the point of paying a private banker to do something and paying him a lot, and he cuts off huge profits, bonuses, rake-offs, and all the rest, when you might as well do it directly yourself? In other words, save some money. The government should be its own bank. And then we can say these were zombie lenders in the same way that Goldman and Morgan and Citi and Bank of America and Wells Fargo and Mellon, those are all zombie banks. Why are you subsidizing them with bailouts to get you then to get them to lend you money? Same thing with the student loan area. Don't let zombie lenders who are greedy for subsidies and give lousy high interest rates to students, why subsidize them? Do it yourself. If this method were applied to the Federal Reserve, you would have the Federal Reserve become part of the Treasury and issue credit according to acts of Congress. The money supply, the interest rates, and the approved lending categories would all be set by public law, not by a clique of Wall Street zombie bankers meeting in secret, unaccountable, unelected, and all the rest. The estimate is that the essentially the nationalization of the student loan program saves $80 billion. This means $40 billion additional for Pell Grants. It means the average Pell Grant can now go from $5,350 per academic year to $6,900 over 10 years. That's too slow, too little, but better than nothing. And it can be indexed to inflation after 2011. And if you're a veteran, you get a Pell Grant and the GI Bill. We'll be back in a minute.